Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What do we have here? We have about 7 or 8 topics and I will enumerate them and then we're going to discuss them in detail. The first one, the Ukrainians claim, and they provided some videos, for me unconvincing videos, but nevertheless, that they destroyed a Russian vessel and with their little Magura V or 5 drones, naval drones. That's one. I have about what, three articles discussing this alleged success on Ukraine's part. The other one, Belarus under attack, and Mr. Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, reacts by bringing some air defense systems at the border with Ukraine. They claim they destroyed some attacking drones coming from Ukraine. I have 1, I have 2, I have 3 articles regarding this issue. Next topic. Ukraine claims it destroyed a gas platform used by the Russian forces in the Black Sea. There's a video about it, it's an explosion. I'm not going to play it because YouTube protects you from having real news, but they want you to be treated like children. Therefore, they will tell you what happened. In this case, I will tell you what they tell me what happened. So it is in the Black Sea. They have a video. I will tell you about the video. You don't have to really see it. It's just an explosion of something, and that's it. Now I don't know if that's in the Atlantic Ocean or in the Pacific Ocean or whatever it is. They claim it is in Russia, in the Black Sea. And then we have an expert, a US expert, who confirms something I've been saying for, a few years already, which is the Ukrainian military should not be trained by, let's say, the Canadians, Lithuanians, Romanians, French, who have no experience in a war actually, as the Ukrainians have right now. And this expert in war says actually the Ukrainians will train everybody else after the war. If, I would add, they are going to be a country. I think the Russians will train everybody else having the experience. But remember, it's not that the Ukrainians are alone in this war. They have the Americans and everybody else around. So direct participation, I think so. And the last topic here is the Russian forces eliminate, again, mercenaries in the Kursk region. If you remember, the Russian territory is attacked by the Ukrainians in Kursk with a little invasion, and they advanced over there. I covered the issue on a previous video that I just uploaded a minute ago. So these obviously have little ramifications for about a few topics, but each topic has some little topics under or following. Let's go with the first article. Ukrainska Pravda. Ukraine's defense intelligence fighters destroy another boat near Crimea, and it's a video. So in this video, I will just tell you what happened over there. Here is the boat, and this is the Ukrainian drone, naval drone right here. I'm not going to play it. And this is the Russian, if you can figure it out, Russian boat, speedboat. So this drone, the video stops exactly here. You don't see if this was, if exploded, you don't know if this is Russian or it's American or French or whatever it is, but this is it. And you see that there are some drones running around or, floating around, and the Russians are and there's a helicopter over there shooting at the drone, but somehow the drone makes it. Here the water is just like a lake, and the other video where the occurs, the water is with waves. So you make your own assessment of that one. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? 50%. Defense intelligence of Ukraine Special Unit Group 13 has destroyed a Russian KS-701 Tunets high-speed boat near the settlement of Chornomorske, Chorno means black, Morske, in temporarily occupied Crimea on night of 8 to 9 of August. DUI, that's how I call these guys, specified that the Russian vessel was hit using a Magura V5 unscrewed surface vessel. As a result of the operation, 3 other Russian vessels were also damaged. So, oh my God, so that's 4 vessels these guys damaged, with their type still being determined. And I'm quoting, this is not the first Tunets destroyed near the peninsula's shores. 2 Russian vessels of this type were destroyed and another 2 damaged by intelligence forces in May of this year. Oh, okay. All right, so May now. We are in, August, aren't we? The Russians used Kh-701 type high-speed transport and landing boats in occupied Crimea for patrolling the waters and logistics. Got that? All right, that's the first article. Second one, New Voice of Ukraine. AGUR destroyed Russian Tunets-type speedboat in Crimea with this Mogura V5. And we have the same information coming from here, and they tell us that additionally soldiers from the AGUR Group 13 special unit struck 3 more Russian vessels with their type still being undetermined. Okay, good for you. Next one. This is from MENA FN, which is Ukrinform. This is the Russian boat, the Tunet boat that was destroyed by the Ukrainians in this video right here. Ukraine destroyed another Russian naval vessel in Crimea. Overnight Friday, Ukraine's Defense Intelligence GUR operatives from the Group 13 team destroyed a Tunets-type high-speed cutter project KH, and this jumps because it's Ukrainian, 701 using a Mogura V5 sea drone off the coast of Chernomorsk in temporarily occupied Crimea. As a result of the mission, 3 more watercraft were also damaged. Their type is being boom, 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 orom. All right, this is the first one. Next one. We go to the Lukashenko. So Lukashenko claims that his country is attacked. What are they going to do? I don't know. We'll see. Lukashenko claims dozen aerial targets shot down over Belarus. Lukashenko warned that if they will be attacked by Poland or these guys in the Baltic states or Ukraine, they will join Russia and they will you up. All right, basically that's what you said. Exactly like that. So let's see. Lukashenko, self-proclaimed, like I was about to say Obama. Zelensky is just a legitimate leader, ruler of the Ukrainian nation that he's part of. Make me, throw up. Self-proclaimed Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has claimed that several targets from Ukraine were shot down over Belarus. Is it possible? 100%. Probable? I would say 50%, if not more. The Belarusian Air Force, and I'm quoting, and air defense forces were put on high alert yesterday, is dead and gone, 9 of August at 18:10, that is 6:10 p.m. We call it readiness condition 1. The armed forces of Ukraine violated all rules of conducting war and violated the airspace of the Republic of Belarus. Targets were very close to us in the Kostyukovich district in the eastern direction. Therefore, air defense forces were on full combat alert to intercept the targets. There were about a dozen of them, 12 of them. Lukashenko said that on Friday at 19:04, at 7:04 p.m. At an altitude of 1.5 kilometers, the air defense forces destroyed several targets over the territory of Belarus. And I'm quoting Lukashenko. Overnight and in the morning, we have been searching for the wreckage of what was destroyed. We suspect that these are attack drones. They violated the airspace of Belarus and flew from Ukrainska Pravda. We destroyed the targets over the territory of Belarus. The rest were destroyed. We have a single air defense systems with Russia by the Russian Federation. The Russian Ministry of Defense stated that their air defense had allegedly destroyed 32 aircraft type drones overnight. Over Belarus or over Russia? Okay, hang on, we got more. The New Voice of Ukraine. Lukashenko claims destruction of Ukrainian drones over Belarusian territory. He's like a saint. And we have the same, it says here, at 7:04 p.m. at an altitude of 1.5 kilometers, that's about a mile, and a range of 6.5 kilometers, that's about 4 miles. Several targets were destroyed by air defense forces over Belarusian territory. You got that? All right, we got that. Now we have this, what Mr. Lukashenko will do. Self-proclaimed Belarusian president orders Iskander missile systems and rocket artillery to be sent to border with Ukraine. Good job. Could that be a provocation? Could that be a false flag? Could that be a lie? Yes. And these guys are just want to intervene in the war? Yes. Would that help Russia? I don't think so. Why? Because if Belarus intervenes, I guarantee you, NATO countries will also intervene. Not necessarily under NATO umbrella, or maybe, you know, something, a murky, under a, I'm like, what's the name of that movie? What the hell is that movie? Can't remember. Anyway, there was comedy, 3 comedies. When they shot the guy over there, there was Will Ferrell, and I'm still alive, I'm hurt. And of course, boom, 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 the one with Mini-Me, whatever his name is. All right, so let's go back here. So the consequences could be obviously an escalation from the Russians, from the Ukrainians, from from the Russians, from the Americans. The Ukrainians are just, you know, the pistol, the finger. I'm sorry. Alexander Lukashenko, the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, has ordered the reinforcement of the grouping of forces in the Gomel and Mozyr tactical areas bordering Ukraine's Kiev and Chernihiv Oblast. The commander-in-chief, I'm quoting, of the armed forces, Lukashenko, has given instructions to strengthen the grouping of forces in the Gomel and Mozyr tactical areas. Special operations forces, ground forces, and rocket units, particularly Polonez multiple launch rocket systems and Iskander missile systems, have been tasked with moving to the designated areas. Earlier, Lukashenko claimed that, and I'm quoting, several targets coming from Ukraine had been shot down over Belarus. Pam. And we have Sputnik. Belarus intercepts alleged, I like this, you see? This is real reporting. Alleged Ukrainian combat drones in its airspace. Lukashenko. Look how he looks. Funny looking. Belarus intercepts several alleged Ukrainian combat drones over its territory, while some of them were destroyed by Russian forces in the Russian airspace. But now this, they clarify what the other one was with the article coming from these guys. I think it was. No. Somewhere here. I think somewhere in one of these two, right here. Yeah. Russian Minister of Defense stated that their air defense had allegedly destroyed 32 aircraft-type drones overnight, and these guys give us the details here. It was in the Russian airspace, and the same information they give us here. The country's air defense forces were put on full alert to intercept the targets, he added. There were about dozens of them. Jets and helicopters were scrambled. The MLRS means were also put on high alert, Lukashenko said. Got that? All right, let's move on. What do we have here? Obviously, Ukraine says it hit an offshore gas platform used by Russian forces. This is not for the civilians. Whenever they hit something, if they hit, I have doubts they hit, but possible, 100%, probable, 50%. When these guys hit something, they say, oh, that's used by the military. So tomorrow they will hit, I don't know, a school, and they're going to say, oh, that's really that the Russians are hiding in the school their military and their military equipment. And people, baboons, will believe it because the media tells them so. But when the Russians say the same thing when they attack and they bombard certain areas like that, no, it's just civilians. I don't want to say suspect. I think both things happened. War crimes and indeed hiding military equipment and military troops inside schools or hospitals and so on. Is that a legitimate target? Why do you defend yourself in the cities? You can say, well, I do this. Well, then you expose yourself to this kind of situations. And I always use Paris in the Second World War, which was at the advance of the Blitzkrieg of the Germans towards Paris. They said, hold on, oh, stop right here, okay? We declare Paris an open city. Therefore, we're not going to fight in it, so the Germans will not it up. And that's why you can still go and visit Paris like I did, because this guy says open city, we're not going to fight, you're not going to destroy it. But the other ones are a little bit more at the orders of the guys who have no problem doing that. That means the French were in control of their Paris at that time. The Ukrainians are not in control of their country at this time. Why? Because they fight inside the war, inside the towns, and they are flattened by the Russians. But hey, I know a few that are waiting to reconstruct them if they win this war. Who are those? The bankers and the guys who will receive contracts from the US government to rebuild the cities that were destroyed, infrastructure by the evil Russians, because the Ukrainians were ordered to defend them inside the city. So you see how it goes? The profiteers will profit. All right, let's move on. So what do we have? Let me put my goggles here. What do we have here? Kiev. Ukraine Navy and military intelligence have attacked and damaged a former offshore gas platform used by the Russian forces. Russian forces use that. No, it's just in the Black Sea. The Navy spokesperson said on Saturday the occupiers used this location for GPS spoofing to make civilian navigation dangerous. We cannot allow this to happen. Okay, everything for the common good. We're fighting the Ruskies, therefore there it is. There were no civilians there. Got that? No civilians. The platform was not performing its normal function, they say. Got that? All right. Now, if they say that, that is true. This is just a picture of something. Of the video, it's a platform and an explosion, and that's it. Now, I don't know if that is in Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean or whatever. Ukrainian Navy strikes gas tower in Black Sea. Video. Pop. It says here, the activist said that the Ukrainian Navy possesses twin Sea Baby drones with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers and a warhead of about 900 kilograms, which means the chances for Russians to survive in the Black Sea are diminishing. Correct. So that's what it is, my friends. Let's go to the next one. US issues warning to Iran of serious risk if it carries out retaliatory attack against Israel. Report. So that is, if Israel, hits something inside Iran, Iran cannot hit back, because if it hit back, the bully boy is going to intervene with other money and our people in order to defend our strategic ally and you know what I mean. This reminds me of this. I can hit you, but if you want to hit me back, I will call daddy to fuck you up. Now this reminds me of a story. Of a real life experience. It happened when I was a kid, and I told this I think on 1 or 2 occasions because it stuck into my mind because it was so unfair. So in a schoolyard, we play football, we play tennis, we play all kind of games. Football all the time. Football meaning soccer, okay, for some. So we played over there as kids, and as in a schoolyard, some people smack other people. Now get tougher, boy. If not, go home to mommy. That's how it was. The problem is this: some of these boys of the same age, they would go and call their parents, and their parents will come and they will beat the child who beat their child. Now, you can agree with that, you cannot agree with that, but I'm going to tell you something else. So it was this guy, well, I'm friends with, I was friends, I know him, I'm still friends with him on Facebook, I'm friends with him. I have no problem with that, but this is what he did. So he got smacked by another kid. The same age. It was not like the guy was older or something. The same age. And this guy went home, told his dad, and his dad snuck around, ran after this kid in a schoolyard. I was over there. Grabbed him, did not beat him up, held him, called his son came, and the son was beating up on this child while his father was holding the child, and the child could not hit back. Now, do you think that's fair? Do you think? Well, I tell you that if I were an adult at that time, I would go and fuck them up. All right? That's what I would do. I think that was so unfair because it's still stuck to my head. I couldn't intervene. I was a child. The same age. I can remember maybe you were in the 7th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Maybe it's like this. So the same here. The Americans, but in this case, my colleague who got the beating from the other guy, he did not do anything to this guy. I mean, it was an altercation, blah, 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 back and forth, and he got smacked. What was he supposed to do? Tell Americans. So the same here. In this case, this friend of mine did not hit that guy. If I remember, if he instigated, I can't remember how it started. So, but here it's clear that only one country is allowed to hit other countries, and if the other countries try to retaliate, we got the bully boy. But you can say, wait a minute. It's time out. Hold on. It's a back and forth. Those guys attacked to the proxies and all that. And why? Why is this happening? And you go obviously back in time to the beginning, and you go to the chronology of events. And if you tell me that about 2,000 years, some owned this by taking this from others, it's in their little book over there, okay, at the orders of the something that they, okay, and that therefore that tells them they own that. And then in 1948, these guys, again, the bully boy, comes over and say, back off everybody else, we want to create this right here because we can. Well, you go chronologically, you find out. And if that's true, and they think it's true, then let's go with the Dacians. The Dacians, my ancestors, for instance, have a big territory. So that means everybody who sits on that territory, right, that's about 500 kilometers in all directions of current Romania, should be owned by us. Therefore, everybody back the fuck up, that's our land. So how far you go to claim that is your land? How far? Right? If you go again to the so-called Native Americans, which are Indian Americans, oh, they are here, what they call native. No, you're not native. Native is something from there. They came from somewhere else. There you go. So I would give this to the mammoth, to the, the flowers. So everybody should live under the same definition. You invaded this. It was a fantastic land, and you came over. Back off. Oh, you were the first human beings, and you were peaceful. We wrote your history. Why? You had no writing. Anyway, let's move on. Here it is. So, US issues warning to Iran in the name of these guys. So, you know who's who and what is what. Garbage. Next one. This is the expert. All right, here it is. US expert. Ukrainian military will train all Western armies after the war is over. Boy, if Ukraine or the West wins. If it doesn't, it's going to be the Russians training the Western armies. Malcolm Nance, an American intelligence and counterterrorism expert, he looks very familiar. I think I watched him, if this is the same guy, is convinced that after the war, the Ukrainian military will be able to train Western armies. But he misses the point. After the war, well, it depends how it ends. All right? He expressed his opinion in an interview with Ukrinform. Good for you. Good for you. And here is the last one. Sputnik, Russian forces eliminate 15 foreign mercenaries with thermobaric weapons near Sudzha in Kursk region. So let's go and see where Kursk region is. And I have to do a little hanky-panky here. Pakalaka, tsakamaka, pokaloka, and here we go again. Here is Kursk. So in this area where the Ukrainians advance. Right. So this is the advancing of the Ukrainians according to the Russians, and not only, they are successful in advancing in this area. So let's see what these guys are saying. A missile strike with a thermobaric warhead on a temporary foreign mercenary base on the southern outskirts of Sudzha has killed 15 militants, the Russian Ministry of Defense reported. Possible, 100%. Probable, I don't know, 50%. Why? Because I don't know. They can claim whatever they want. The Russian armed forces continue to repel attempts by Ukrainian forces to invade Russian territory. These guys say, the Ministry of Defense stated on Saturday, over the previous day, forces of the Russian Sever Bell Group, along with reserves, thwarted attempts by enemy mobile groups to penetrate deeper in Russian territory in the areas of Ivashkovsky, Malaya Loknia, and Olgovska through active operations, army aviation strikes and artillery fire. Ukrainian manpower and equipment were also targeted in the areas of Nikolaevo, Darino, Guyevo, Lyubimovka, Zeleny, Shlai. The Minister of Defense reported the air defense forces hit Ukrainian reserves in the Sumy region. Sumy region is right here across the border. This is Sumy region right here, and make it like this so you see where Sumy is. Kursk, this is where this occurs. This is the Russian offensive which stopped, and these are doing a conducting counter-offensive here. All right, where are we? And we are here. A thermobaric missile strike on a temporary foreign mercenary base on the southern outskirts of Sudzha resulted in the elimination of 15 foreign mercenaries. I would like to know what kind of countries they become, or they are from. Over the previous 24 hours, Ukrainian forces reportedly lost Okay, we're not going to go over that. So, this is it for this video. Remember, the information, things happen too fast. I don't think the Russians necessarily blew up those. Maybe, but the information comes too fast, and the sequence of news is so rapid that we can't really have time to verify, and they verify it's true. This is gonna die today. It just came out today, 15 tomorrow is not gonna be news. The same thing with most of these things. Oh, they blew up that. Tomorrow there's not going to be. There's going to be something else. It's going to be something else. Something else. If you try to verify all these pieces of information for their accuracy, you're going to waste your time on that particular thing and lose every other piece of information. Therefore, when I report this kind of events, I always say, or I'm trying to say, sometimes probably I'm mistaking, probabilities and a possibility and probabilities. Possibility, it's possible. Probability, based on the evidence they provide and my assessment of the capability. I mean, if they say right now, I don't know, the Russians sent a pigeon from Moscow to, let's say, Paris. I don't think so, right? So is it possible? I don't even think it's possible. But nevertheless, probable. If it's not possible, how in the hell it will be probable? So you work with that. You know the pigeon, how far it flies and so on. It can fly pretty high. Okay, well, let's say make it even to Rio de Janeiro over the Atlantic. Now, is it possible? I don't think so. So therefore is zero probable. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth and be just.